I would do it this afternoon, the negotiation. We'll come back to the table, do it this afternoon. If someone was authorized, just Tom and Tom, you're the rep. Sit down and do it this afternoon, but we can't. I don't want to even give the impression that I'm trying to drive some wedge or anything, but your leadership out of past here that's associated with the labor board won't do it. We concluded an agreement. I can say because this is on the factual record already. We concluded an agreement in April on all the cost items, and concluded then an agreement on all the non-cost items. There was 60 plus items. I'm sure you've been, I hope you've been informed of this. Wayne Joseph on the Big I hadn't been informed. He said the only communication he had is from the newspaper. There was some 60 plus items, non-cost items. Everything from when bells would ring, you know, what the hours would be, to prep time, etc. Not the orders that were given, but in consultation with the superintendent and with the Board of Education, their attitude was, and I subsequently instructed the negotiator, chief negotiator for us, Neil Deeds, formerly with the Seafarers Union, their negotiator, is my negotiator now. Wherever possible, if there is a difference of opinion between the Department of Education and the teachers union with regard to any of these non-cost items, all of which have to do, virtually all of which have to do with teaching in the classroom and advancing it, agree with the teachers. That's why in, I don't know, less than 4 weeks time, 4.5 weeks time, they went from 60 plus items to 30 plus items to 9 items to 0. The last one of which was preparation time. There was not an argument, but a difference in numbers. 5 minutes versus 7 minutes or 3 minutes, something like that. I think they split the difference. I never did any negotiations myself personally because I put the parameters out. And,
you got to know that.
Well, I'm trying. You know, we haven't had any of this.
Governor,
I want you to know what the press was. And the reason I mention all that is there was never the slightest indication ever. Now, when I sit down to negotiate with somebody, I'm talking to you and you say you're the rep. You make representations to me, and I make representations to you. We shake hands on it, and that's the agreement. Then you come back and tell me, oh, I really didn't have the authority to negotiate in the first place.
that's not, if respectful, if I might speak to it. I've seen the entire contract that was agreed to and was not agreed to. I've seen the signatures of who signed off and who hasn't signed off. And it's not true that everything was settled. I can go in my car right now and I can show you all the things that were not settled, that have not been settled, and what the teachers actually feel. And you spoke with us. We were the first ones that endorsed you. You came to the HSTA convention. You talked about we all need to paddle the canoe together.
Yes.
What we feel is right now, there were 10 days left in that canoe race, and you jumped out of the canoe. And let me finish,
Exactly
please.
wrong.
If I could just finish, please. We feel that you've jumped out of the canoe, and what we need, you are the only person in this state that can bring everybody back. What we're asking for you is to go find that steering paddle and get back in the canoe.
Why don't we do it this
And that's
afternoon?
what we want. I'd be
I'm
more
going
than
back
happy.
in the 4 o'clock plane.
I'd be happy to get
I'm
hold
going
of
back
all
at
of our
5 o'clock
negotiators.
plane.
If that is going to be a statement that you want to do to
I've
get
done that
everybody
over
back
and over
there,
again.
then we can contact our negotiators to have our negotiating team to start doing this, because we really need your help. We thought we elected someone who could be the steersman for the
I'll
state.
put my hand, I'll
And
be
that's
there
what we want.
I'll be there this evening.
Then we would have to talk with our folks, and I'd be happy to shake your hand and make sure that we
Okay.
get everybody back there. If that's the case, I would
fine
love to
with
get
me.
everybody back to that bargaining table so that we can do this.
That offer has been on the table since mid-June.
Well, we need to
I've
have that
never
steers
had
person.
a word
That's what
back
we need.
ever.
So if we can do that, we can agree to get everybody back to the table. We would love to have them, so that we can,
happy to do it.
and so that we can get everyone back to this table. And this will be videotaped now, so that we can get everyone
fine
back.
with
So
me.
we would appreciate
It's
that.
no different than what we have said right straight through. From June on, when I was in my conference room and your negotiators were telling the Department of Education, the Federal Department of Education, an agreement had been reached.
No.
The process of
That's not.
Well,
I have the form. It says on that form that everybody signed off on. It said what the process has to be. The process has to go back to our negotiating committee. The process then has to go to our board. And on everything was not agreed to with the prep time, with a lot of other things that I know have not been paid to. And
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. Let's not say that's not agreed to.
Okay. What don't you agree with? What do you want?
We have the list.
Well, you may have the list, but I don't.
Well, then we need to get together.
I agree. I have been asking for the list that you say you have, and that has been shared apparently with some people in the HSTA, but never been shared with me. I asked, the superintendent asked, I asked for my chief negotiator at the Board of Education, what is it that is not acceptable to you? That was asked in mid-June. It is now almost the end of August, and we have never received a word. What I did receive is subpoenas. I received letters of condemnation and so on and so forth. They said, can we have mediation? I said, yes, of course, let's do it. Then it became arbitration that doesn't even exist in the law.
Unless both parties agree.
Yeah, well, why should I agree to arbitration before you even give me a counteroffer or go to mediation? I understand how this works. Now, I don't think you're a rookie in it. First, you negotiate, you can go to mediation, then you can strike, unless you agree to arbitration. But if you think for a moment that I'm going to accept that I sit there in the middle of June asking if you can agree to what I thought we had agreed to, what is it that you would like to have that you don't have now and not receive an answer?
Then are you saying, though, if we cannot agree to mediation, would you agree to arbitration then?
Why can't you agree to mediation?
No, I'm saying, but as you know, mediation is good for both sides, but if they do not agree, it's not good. If the mediator cannot get the job done, then it's very difficult to find a mediator to do this type of position. Now, if we can agree to that, then if we can go to arbitration, would you agree to that?
Let's get to negotiating.
Okay, tell you what we can do. So I will come back and I will talk to all the folks from the HSTA so that hopefully we can get back to the bargaining table. And I appreciate your goodwill, and I thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you.
More than talking with you, I want to see this resolved in a way that gives everybody confidence that we can move forward. That's the reason that this went forward. If July 1st came, I cannot have this out. But the contract has been implemented. It hasn't been imposed. I am willing at any time to sit down.
That's illegal to just implement it. You have to go through negotiations.
Well, it's never happened before.
We have no confidence right now.
That's why, Governor, we feel
Well, I
we
have very
should
little
jump out of
confidence.
it.
I have very little confidence in somebody who tells me they've got an agreement and then tells me that they don't.
Well, that's not exactly
and then I ask, well, see, that's how you get a difference of judgment and a difference of opinion.
We made an agreement. We'll try to talk and get back
So
to
my
this.
point is that it's very difficult to respond to you on the things you don't agree on if I don't know what they are.
Well, hopefully we can get back together.
Surely that's fair.
We just want fair.
Right.
We want to be heard.
It's surely fair.
Don't those things come at the bargaining table, though, Governor?
Yes, precisely.
So they can't present them to you except for at the bargaining table. Isn't that right?
Then why aren't they there?
Well, because they want you to come to the bargaining table so they can present them. I think that's what it is.
But factually, so that you have it right, so it's not factually, I've been ready to do that since mid-June, and not one single word or one single offer has been made by the HSTA to do it. It may be in the newspaper, it may be floating in the atmosphere, you may be talking to one another about it, but there's a very simple proposition. You sit down at the table. Nobody from the HSTA has done that. The only place you've gone is to the Labor Board, and you've put in one motion after another to even keep the Labor Board from being able to make a decision. It seems to me the difficulty in terms of actually being able to sit down and negotiate is within the HSTA itself. I'm ready, my people are ready, our negotiators are ready, have been ready since mid-June. As far as I can see, no HSTA negotiator has taken one single step, physically or otherwise, to sit down and do the actual negotiating you're speaking of. I think this gentleman here has the right idea. Go back to your representatives or go back to the people who are doing the negotiating and tell them the governor is ready and has been ready since mid-June. That's what he says. There's a very simple way to test it. pick a day, pick a time, and show up.